So I want to start with a story. Some of you may have heard this story before. Of a woman who came to me a couple of years ago. She was 64 years old. She was overweight, but not morbidly obese. But she had out of control type 2 diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and kidney disease. And the first thing she said after she sat down was, I am going to need years of counseling for my emotional eating. Now she's 64, right? And I said, okay, well, bring me up to speed. She says, well, I have been a compulsive overeater for 30 years. I've gone to OA, I've gone to doctors, I've been on diets, and nothing has ever worked. So I know it's my emotions, and I'm going to need years of counseling. I'm like, okay, well, what do you eat? What do you compulsively overeat? Potato chips. So I took a look at her 3-day diary, and yes, indeed, over 3 days, she ate potato chips and more potato chips and more potato chips and some vanilla ice cream and exactly 2 deep fried chicken legs. Okay. This was all she ate over 3 days. And I thought, it has nothing to do with emotions. This has everything to do with the fact that she has a profoundly starving brain, and her body is trying to make up in quantity of potato chips what she's missing in quality of nutrients. It's like, well, maybe if I eat enough potato chips, I'll get the nutrients I need, right? Which of course wasn't working, but she was trying really hard to do that. So my heart broke for her. And I said, okay, look, but I don't take anything away from you. I'm not going to tell you to stop eating your potato chips or eating your vanilla ice cream at all. But can we add a few things to your diet? Just a few things. And she said, sure. She was really motivated because she was so desperate and she was so ill. And I said, I want you eating 20 grams of protein every 4 hours minimum. Boom, 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 boom. So we brainstormed about what that would look like and how she would make that happen, and she was on board. And then I said, along with this protein 4 times a day, I want you eating 3 servings of fruits and vegetables. I said, again, I don't really care what it is, just as long as it is fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. You can cook them any way you want, just get them in you. And she said, well, that's really clear. I can do that. Okay. So we left it at that. A week later, she came back glowing. She was radiant. She said, I have not had one potato chip nor one bowl of ice cream the entire week. And I said, yeah, your brain was finally getting the nutrients it needed, and it didn't need to make up the lack with potato chips. Hi, Elena, Carrie, Addie, Tammy, welcome. So we tweaked a few things, talked about a few things, and she left really happy. But she came back now, the third session, despondent, right? We said, what happened? She said, I did great until last night. And 10 o'clock last night, I had this craving. It came out of the blue. And I just had to go to the grocery store and buy 2 large bags of potato chips. And I ate them all. I ate them all. I said, well, by the way, cravings never ever come out of the blue. So let's look at what happened in the rest of the day. Did you have your breakfast? High protein breakfast? Yes, indeed. Great breakfast. Great lunch. Did you have your afternoon snack? No, I was too busy at work and I was doing something for a coworker. Okay, what about dinner? Well, when I got home from work, I was so exhausted because she missed her afternoon snack, that I just went to bed and at 5:30, and I woke up at 7:30, and I was so anxious about the work I hadn't completed that I went to my computer and I worked until 10 o'clock, and then I just had to go to the store and get potato chips. Well, as she's telling me this, her eyes are getting bigger and bigger, right? And she says, "Oh, oh, oh, I was hungry, wasn't I?" I said, "Yeah, you were hungry. You were so anxious at 7:30 because your blood sugar had dropped and adrenaline had kicked in. And you didn't realize that, so you went to work, where it's really what you needed to have done. This was telling you that you were hungry. And if you'd eaten at 7:30 when you woke up from your nap, you wouldn't have bought the potato chips." Well, her years of emotional eating condensed to 3 months. And by the end of the 3 months, her diabetes was under control. Her non-alcoholic fatty liver disease had turned around, and her kidney disease was getting better. We did have to work on a few emotional things. She did actually have codependency because she was doing things for other people rather than putting her own food self-care first. And so, she was like skipping her snack or cutting her lunch short because a coworker needed help. So yes, we did have to work on that so that she could keep her food self-care front and center. But once we did that, and that didn't take very long, she was fine. And she said to me in tears in our last session, "Thank you so much. You saved my life." I probably did. She was pretty ill. He said, "Why didn't anybody else make it this easy?" And this is a woman who actually didn't even need aminos. She just needed to be feeding her brain sufficiently and consistently.